Hi all, welcome to something a little bit different this week. I'm going to be sitting in on the Crit Racing for Beginners race. This is a event which is being used to promote crit racing without all of the big guns, keeping them out of the way so everyone else can have a bit of fun, know that it's a bit more of a level field, and hopefully encourage people to get involved and learn a few new tricks riding in a big pack. Hopefully it's not going to be sprung out too much. So I'm just going to be cruising around because I'm not going to be taking part. I do like my crit racing, but I will be just following the race. So we've got a pretty flat race today. It's a 28-kilometre race around the zone crit circuit, which is in Italy. I think that's, I'm not entirely sure, 25 laps, there we go. So we're away. Got the usual fast start there, already a little bit strung out, a few people putting in big numbers initially, but this will break down into packs, I'm sure. I have raced this circuit. It's a nice little circuit. First couple of corners are fairly easy. And you can just see there over to the left in the background there is a sort of snaky bit, so you do have to be paying attention as you go around these corners. Got that left-hander, and there's a sharp right-hander. Let's zoom up a bit. There we go. Let me get a nice overview of the course there as we go around these corners. So it is quite challenging from the perspective of trying to be in the right position on the road. So there's 53 riders in this race today. Looks like we've got a good few groups forming on the road. One rider pushing out the front. So we're going to keep an eye on this race. At the same time, we do have the Ask Us Anything with RGT is taking place on the RGT cycling channel. But stay here on my channel, that's great. So it looks like we've got TG off the front there, pushing 4.8, 4.9 watts per kilo. It's a pretty strong effort for this group. The entry criteria were an FTP of maximum of 250. So that gives you an idea of the level of the riders in this event. So we've got a bit of a mixture here. I do recognise a few of the guys. It looks like we've got a front group chasing down our solo rider off the front. We've got about 15 riders, and then there's another little bit of a gap to about 10, and then another little gap to about 5. So already getting a little bit spread out on the road. I'm just cruising around at the back somewhere. This pack just working together, slowly pulling back. TG, he was up at 45 metres ahead. Let's come back to 20 metres now. And I'm sure as they hit this straight, the speed of the pack will pick up a little bit. And they'll start to reel him back a bit more. So here we are then. Looking at the pack, trying to close down TG off the front. So a couple of laps in, that gap slowly coming down. He's holding a nice steady 4 watts a kilo there off the front. 330 watts. So already about 10% of the race has been covered, and so we're looking at about just under 40 minutes, I imagine, for this race. And there we go then, as we come into that corner, the pack closes up on T-Jeam, brings him back into the fold. What else have we got here then? Holly Larson there in 5th place, one of the strong female riders on RGT. Gosh, I recognise here Jay Duluck, seen him a few times. He's in this front group. So yeah, quite a few new riders, that's good to see, you know, coming in, having a chance to ride in a pack, not get dropped. So it's good to see this event is off to a good start. 50 riders, yeah, that's great numbers. So one good 17 or so in this front group. A couple of riders making a bit of a push here on this start line. Stairkin there, just having a little bit of a push off the front. So I mentioned about the 250 watts FTP, so that's your average power for 1 hour. And what we've got today is, because it's a shorter race, like I say, about 40 minutes, it will be that riders are able to ride above that 250 watts. So it might be that they can ride at, say, 270 watts for that distance, for that time. So things might be a little bit higher that you see on the screen than that 250. And also for short little intervals, a minute or so, you can definitely get above that 250. We've got Adam Morgan there on the front, the Welsh rider. He organises the SSR crit races on a Tuesday, so they're a bit more open for everyone. But they are different courses each week. They're good fun. So getting a little bit stretched out now through those curves and then back onto this straight. But no one really pushing the front, so it comes back together. So I'm a little bit distracted because I am also listening in to the Ask Us Anything. I should probably just focus on the racing and come back to that later. But if you are watching this stream, then definitely check that out afterwards. I'm going to try and multitask. So going back to the field is a smaller group, back in around about 20th place. Little group of 6 there, working well together. And another little group of 5 behind. A little group behind, so it's good to see a little group sticking together, giving everyone a competitive opportunity for everyone. There's Sean the Sheep, sitting in 35th at the minute. He's in the blue decathlon kit with the orange helmet there, just drafting off Millwood in the herd kit. So let's make sure everybody gets a little bit of screen time. Good to see everyone taking part today. So yeah, a few more little groups here. Good to see everyone. No one really riding solo. But the front group is starting to lap a few riders now. A few of those lap riders just tagging onto the pack there. A few more riders towards the rear here. And there's me, just soft pedaling around, just getting a little bit of a workout. So 50 riders in the race. Good to see. So back to the front then. Here we go, here's the front group as they come round to complete lap 5. Sure, it must be more than that. Feels like it should be, but there we go. That's a fifth of the race done then. So a group of 16 still then in this first group. Let's get in. So following Holly here. And this pack of 16 as they overtake a few more riders towards the rear. Down in the pack then, having a nice follow here. Nice and tight in the group here. T Jeam still doing a good effort then. He's still leading, pushing on the front. Still putting out some good numbers. 4 or 5 watts a kilo. As the group tried to stay with him. So as they come round to lap a few more riders. Looks like they're just getting past without any issues. Sometimes you can get a bit tangled with riders when you're lapping them. They can tag on and that can cause the pack to string out a bit more. But they're no slowing down, fast they go. And there we are then on lap 6 now. Round about over a quarter of the race done. 8 kilometres down, 20 to go. Been a bit strung out then around that corner. Around these corners. Riders having to push to get back on to find that wheel. It's all part of that learning experience. Drop back down into the pack. So you do have to watch if you're on the outside line. You do maybe have to put down a bit of power to make sure you don't lose that wheel. But because of the nature of this course, you can see there Holly on the inside. She was on the outside, now she's on the inside. And she's up back to the front. So the snaky feel of this course means that you're never out of position for too long. And actually it can play into your hand. You might be disadvantaged for 1 second, but the next second it could be back into your advantage as we come round to complete another lap then. We jump onto lap 7. So the group looks like it's swelling again a little bit as some of the lap riders do tag on. Thanks, Mads. Thanks for tuning in. Not quite my best effort today, but hopefully it's providing a little bit of insight for everyone. Zoom out a little bit, we'll get an idea where these groups are on the road. So a bit of clear air in the front of this lead group then. Getting strung out a little bit there. A few riders, not sure if they're lap riders or not, just being dropped there. A few riders having to work hard to try and get back into this front group, which is 10 riders at the moment. Okay, Eve, who we're currently following, he's currently in 10th place. And you can see behind there, Broders putting out some red numbers just to try and get back into contact with the pack. There's 3 riders there, you just see them in orange, grey and orange. They're working hard. 13 metres back. Trying to just get back in, get that draft so they can get a little bit of rest. They're almost there as we come around that corner. He goes really big there now, Broders. Just not quite able to make contact with that group. It looks like he's just going to slip away there off the back, but he's digging deep, not giving up. Oh, and look, like almost going to get it now. Looks like the pack maybe has just slowed down a bit through these corners. And those 3 riders that were at the back after one hard lap might just be coming back together and joining into that front group. The group does slow down a bit through the corners because of the auto braking. And there we see Broders just gets back on now. Overtakes Eeg. It's back in the pack. That's a good effort by Broders then. He's going to be wanting a bit of rest now, just sitting in on the pack. He's had a couple of minutes of hard work there. At the moment, this pack then looks content to be riding together. No one pushing off the front. So a nice tight bunch still then. Getting slightly strung out on these corners. It'll be interesting to see towards the end of this race if anyone tries to make advantage of those corners by attacking early. So that's 9 laps done then. Actually, that's a lie. That might be my distance, not the pack distance here. Still look to be about 10 riders in this group then. So let's take a little look back through the pack. So a bit further back is Shearder and Fishpool working together. And then back here, 14th, 15th, 16th place. A little group of 3. I can see a few people in the chat just talking about people's FTP being a little bit higher than maybe the 250. So there's that little group then. Let's jump back up to the front. There we go. This group has swollen quite a bit, but it looks like we've got maybe just 10 in the front group, and we've got a few lap riders here who are tagging in as we approach the halfway point of the race. So this is a big old group now then. There's 17 riders in this little group. So we're over halfway, 22 minutes on the clock. These riders are cruising around at over 40 kilometers an hour, so we're going to be around about the 40-minute mark, I imagine. So still seeing familiar names in this front group then. Larson, Jean, Marty. Hopefully riders are getting a little bit of experience. So this race is part of a series. There are 6 races. This is race 1 of that series. And the results will be available on rgtdb.com. So check that out after the race. And do come back next week log in, have another go, maybe stick with the group for a bit longer. Hopefully some of these stronger riders won't hopefully some of these stronger riders will get the message next week. Max 250 FTP. So this front group then, 11 kilometers to go. So that front group then of 11 is 500 meters up the road. So this little group here then seems to be working together quite well. Good to see people getting into groups. A little group of 3 here then. Then I put myself into a little group here for a couple of riders as they go past. So back to the front then. Team again doing well off the front. Getting nice and close to this group then. We'll follow them for a little while. So I'm watching the Ask Us Anything stream. Do go back and watch it because they are talking now about categories and enforcement, obviously very relevant to this race. So hopefully we'll get some news and it will hopefully help riders in the future. So under 10k now for this front group. 18 kilometers done, so around about 2/3 of the way through the race. 28 minutes down. So we will be looking at under 45 minutes. Might pick up towards the end. And also as they pick up lap riders, that group will swell. And also towards the end, it'll pick up as riders try and maybe push to get to the finish. Yeah, Thomas, some of those front riders are looking quite strong. I'm sure they'll be reviewed afterwards. So coming down to the business end of the race now, into the last quarter of the event. So 6.8 kilometers to go. So we've got about 4 laps then as we go into the gantry. Looks like we're still in this front group of 10. Yeah, sorry, I'm not doing a very good job here, am I? I'm half commentating, half listening to that. It's unfortunately bad timing in terms of the Q&A, but there is some interesting stuff. So do go back and check that out after the race as we start to enter the final few laps now. So let's go all the way to the back then, and we'll work our way through the field. 49 riders then. So deep onto Spanish rider here. C rider. Few riders just ahead. Sedlasek. Westerly with Steve over company. They've got a lap rider there as well. Westerly. There's me, just a little bit up the road. Doing a little bit of a cat for them to chase. A little group here, Timko. We've got Jenkins up the road. Preston. So there's a lot of riders, they're all spread out, but also some in groups, some who have been lapped, all starting to work together. Got Bates, and a bit further up the road, Druitt. He's in this peloton pack. Then Van Gool just up the road. Czech rider, Rahor. With Pellerman. We're jumping around quite a bit as we go through all these different groups. Millwood. Sean the Sheep, who we mentioned earlier. E. Collin. Embo with Lorio here for company. Montero. marked towels with Adam Morgan just ahead. There's a couple in a little group. And then back into the film, we've got Whitehouse and Gaspereau there as well. And they're coming, they're 200 metres behind IK, Esteno, SP here in a little group. So they're all quite spread out, some of these riders, but riding in little groups. Archer's here, a little bit in no man's land, with Bennett just up the road from him. And then Soroyo, Bonnetal, Sterkind, Fonseca, Erkamp, all in that little group. Fishpool just in between. Holly Larson, who's unfortunately looks like she's fallen off the back of that peloton, which is now down to 9 in the leading group, with a few groups hanging on. So Miller, Hardwick, Marty, Hutchins, Hardwick, Nagelhaze, Broders, Eek, who had that, or Broders, who had that great lap earlier. Koch, Giluc. I'm not quite sure where Jean has gone. Maybe he's fallen back a little bit. So that's your lead group, 4K to go. Yeah, interesting category discussion. Somewhat, as Riley mentioned in the chat, a politician's answer. I have been involved with some of those discussions with James, and I think my view is let the community decide where those category boundaries are, but give organisers the tools to implement them. And that's very much, I think, within the ethos of RGT. Event organisers have a lot of tools to create their own TTs, their own elimination races. They set the time, the distance, and they set all of that, and it's been great. But races like today, at the moment, we're relying on people being honest. I've not set this race up. Alex has set this up. And he's put in there maximum 250 watt FTP. And there's a few guys, one guy, Neil, he said, well, I'm 253. Should I be jumping in? And he was sat on the fence and he decided not to. But you know, some riders in this group will be over the 250. And maybe they've not done much quick racing, so they think, actually, I don't really know, so I'll jump in. Fair enough. But hopefully RGT can develop those tools that actually give event organisers those tools to choose the category boundaries for themselves, whether it's on power or FTP or some ranking system which may come in the future. And the boundaries for the ranking, instead of RGT saying, right, 100 points is Cat 4, 200 points is Cat 3, 300 is Cat 1, etc. Just let the community decide how they're going to ban the races. So there could be rankings, you could get points, but you might say, actually, for this race, if you're in the top 20% of riders, doesn't matter what your rankings are, the top 20% will race each other, then the next 20, and then the next 20. And it's dependent into what race you go, it's dependent on the entries. There's lots of different ways it can work. And I think if you give those tools to the community, as they've shown with organising races, they will determine, you know, a great set of races, I'm sure, in the same way that we have with series, with like Vive la France, Tour de Monde. You know, none of the elimination, the Omnium, none of that exists on other platforms, and that's because the organisers have the tools. You think about age category races. If you make those numbers available to people, you put your age in when you sign up, that's it, done. And then an organiser might say, right, this race is 60 and above. But you're forced to be either in that race or out of that race, depending on your date of birth. There's no actually, I'm only 40, but I'm going to sneak in and then ruin the field, you just can't get in. And that's where I think we need that enforcement. But like RGT say, let the organisers sort out the categories and how riders are then arranged into those different categories. Right, well that's my thoughts on it all. That's my little rant, I guess. Thanks for sticking up to that. So we've got 1 lap left then. Is anyone going to get a line of death around the outside? Is anyone going to go early? 49 riders still in this race then. Big old front group here. So I'm just dropping a message saying drop riders or lap riders should drop out the lead pack. So is anyone going to go long? 750 meters to go, but we have got this winding section. Looks like a few people pushing some red numbers then, trying to make sure they don't get dropped, making sure they stay on a wheel for a little bit longer. So we're following Deluc here, the French rider, currently in the lead, staying in that front group round that inside line. You see a few riders there on the outside. They're now going to get the inside line. But because this pack is swelled, it does mean you might lose a few more meters on the road. So 300 meters to go then. Big attack on the inside there, the rider in white. That looks like Eeg. And he's going 9 watts a kilo, and he's pushing, and it looks like he's going to take the win then. Broader in second, Hardwick in third, Luke takes fourth. And then you see there that all those riders carrying on, they're the riders that have been lapped. So let's possibly now in the second group then. So this final group then coming through. This final few corners. Looks like we've got Holly Larson just a little bit up the road. She's going to take 10th place to round out that top 10. So here's Stairkind, Arroyo. It's Holly now coming down that home straight, cross the line and take that 10th place. There's a few riders behind her are going to carry on for a couple more laps. So here we go. Little group here. Are we going to see anyone making a long attack like Eeg did? That was a good attack. So it looks like Stairkind, possibly just there. Oh, Arroyo, Warming as well. Great attack from Warming there. Then Arroyo, then Williams, Monato, Stairkind. That was a nice little group effort for second place. Fishpool going to cruise in for 18th. So Fonseca going to wrap up 19th place. Then Archard and Bennett, they're fighting for 20th place in this little group here then. Yeah, that was a good sprint on that corner. That's why I talked about it on the stream as well. If you're a lap rider, If there's 10 guys in the front pack, the worst you can be is 10th wheel, which is maybe 15 meters back. But if you've got 10 guys who have been lapped, because of the way you're positioning, you could end up 20th place in that bunch, a bit further back, and that can make it quite difficult on those corners. You could be 30, 40 meters back. So that's why it's courtesy just to ease off. So a few more riders then coming around. Looks like Archer Ben just taking that 20th place ahead of Bennett. A few more riders carrying on, cruising round. So well done everyone. Look at that, there we go, nice overview of the whole circuit there. You see all the riders remaining on the course, just cruising around, having a good ride. So Restanio over the line then. Another little group here then, IK in here. Another little group in behind. I'm going to stick with it for a bit longer. We took over 47 minutes, so that front group was somewhere between 40 and 45 minutes then. So there I am, I've still got a few laps to go then. 2 more laps for me. A couple of riders just behind me as well. We had what, 55 starters or so? 49 should be completing the course, so it's good to see that even though there's a few people pushing the pace a little bit higher, a lot of people have stuck around. Hopefully enjoyed the experience, hopefully got some more practice. It's a good experience. And hopefully they managed to stick with the group for a little bit longer. Not get absolutely destroyed, which sometimes can happen in some of the big events with a lot of riders. So hopefully this has been a good experience for everyone. So I'm going to sign off in a minute. Might possibly jump on the Westerly race. Give that a quick whirl. Yeah, else we got here? Still got Preston, or Bates. It's Brewitt. Everyone all quite spread out on the road. Riders of different abilities, different intensities. But all sticking it out, great to see. So 36 riders have finished then. Another 13 still out on the road. Good to see a few people sticking around at the end there. Congratulating each other. Giving each other encouragement, support, motivation. It's good to see. So I've got one more lap after this little corner. And then I will go get my dinner prepped, jump into the Westerly race. So I hope you enjoyed this. Do stream quite regularly. Please give my channel a subscribe. You'll get notifications of any videos. And check out some of the other content on there. So I've got a few race analysis videos. And those videos hopefully give people a few tips a little bit of advice about how to race on RGT. Because it's not that straightforward. You do have to practice, you do have to learn the skills. But once you get the hang of it, it is good fun. I certainly enjoy it. I hope that this has been a good experience for the majority of riders. Hopefully, it gives them a little target for next week as well. Try and beat their position this week. It is a different course next week. Not sure exactly which course it is. It will be around about 25 to 30 kilometres again. As I mentioned earlier, rgtdb.com. That's where the results and the series rankings will be. So go check that out. Sign up for next week. Come back and try and beat your score from this week. So still a few riders left then. I've got about 500 metres left. Westerly here then, and these last few corners before they get onto the main straight. And they've got Steve-O just behind. I don't know what Steve-O's got left in the legs, whether he's got anything for a little sprint to try and roll Westerly on the line, or whether Westerly's got enough to push away. They are just keeping their numbers up at the minute. Going into the red watts per kilo there. Yeah, etching out a little bit of a lead there. They come to 50 metres from the line. They're going to stay away always, all the way down the field. People fighting for position, just having a bit of fun there. Westerly just thought, no, last straight, I'm going to stick with it. I'm not going to get beaten by Steve-O. So I just finished as well now then. That means I'm pulled up to the end of the road. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to follow the last few riders around, but hopefully everyone enjoyed that. I'm going to jump across to the Westerly race now. So I'm going to start a new stream for that. But please do. Actually, maybe I'll just leave this one running. I don't know. Let's go sort out the dinner and then I will make a decision. That was a nice roll around the course there. I enjoyed that. So it looks like there's 107 then, including myself, signed up for the Westerly. And we will see how that goes in about 5 minutes. Right guys, thanks for sticking around. We are 2 minutes out from the Westerly race. This is normally a fast and furious race. It's only 14.6 kilometers today. I think there's a little bit of climbing on this course. It's a little bit up and down. We will see how it goes. It's usually pretty fast, pretty wild. I won't be commentating much. I will be focusing on racing. So just had a little warm up in that beginner's crit race where I was just cruising around. This will be me working hard, probably not talking that much. So if you have stuck around, thank you very much. Might just be reviewing that race after riding in it and seeing that I'm still streaming, so please send me some support. We get geared up here straight into a corner. That's an interesting start. So 79 riders currently online then. 15 seconds to go. Lots of orange helmets in here. Red numbers are flying and away we go. So yeah, you see the profile there. At the bottom, a little bit lumpy. All pretty much green. Slightly yellow sections. I think red. Oh, Matt Osborne in a race. Looks like a lot of guys I recognise from Tour de Monde here. Vivian Fussell, Matt Osborne, Westerly, Ned Bowen. And we're caught. So it's been up and down, not big climbs, but just enough for a little bit of a punch. So come up to halfway. The group whittling down then. 30 odd riders left. And that initial 79. Back's still a bit too big to run away from. So 31 riders in this front bunch. So under 5k, 2/3 distance. So it looks like this will be a sprint group then. Melville, Bowen, Osborne, John Samu, Van Bears, Krajewski. A lot of big names in here. Got FC. They won last time out. Oh. Very sharp left-hander. Power on. Get dropped on the exit. So speed's eased up a bit then. People know now it's going to be a sprint finish. Conserving their energy. Trying to stay off the front. A long straight finish line today, I think. Trying to be not too far back. In case someone goes early. We come up to the Flamme Rouge. The 1k to go banner. Ah! Went too early. Ah! Ah! Too early, got swamped. Ah! 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 Ooh! Thought I could do 200 meters to go. Ah, never mind. Whew. Let's have a quick look at the look about a Miller. All off speed. Pretty close. Down to me. Yeah, just timed it slightly wrong, and that's what happens. You end up in 15th. Only 0.2 behind the winners. I think we'll have enough to power it home. Cheers for watching, guys. Hope you've enjoyed both races today. Ooh, that's decent. Max power over 1,000. I'll take that. Yeah, swarmed at the end. Ended up leading them out. I thought at 200 I'd be able to do it, 200 metres to go, but not quite. Good riders in that though. So yeah, cheers guys, thanks for watching both the streams. Hope you've enjoyed them. Please give me a little thumbs up and subscribe to the channel as well, please, if you could. All helps with RGT. Get it in front of people. Right, thank you, and I will catch you all next time, which might be Thursday. We shall see. All right, cheers.